This is a review of the Kumitate Lab KL Ref. These are, if you're a fan of Arsonics, and particularly the Arsonics 2.5, this would be the natural next upgrade for you. These are customs or universals. I couldn't even begin to tell you. They don't really have the shape of a custom too much, but they're a unique universal. They fit me perfectly. So I guess that these would be a universal because they don't have any shape to them besides a very vague generalization of the ear to sit in. So I believe these are UIM, but they're the best I've ever seen as far as UIM. They don't have a giant generic bulb. The dynamic driver can be seen here. It can also be seen here. There are BA drivers. Difficult to see how many there are. I know I should have the info in front of me, but I don't. There's no card with these ones, but there is for others. It looks like there is, I see 1 and 2, and I believe a third one right there. It looks like, and this can be corrected later with a note under the video, it looks like 3 BAs and a dynamic that's about at least 10, at least 8 millimeters and possibly up to 12, just by looking at its baffle on the side where these two holes are. The size of that relative to my thumb, I'd say 8 to 12. Not sure about that. Specs are not abundant on the website. It's got a dial, the same as as many sets, including the Arsonics. One side is called Ref, and the other is, I can't quite read it. There's a slight deterioration going on here because these are demo models. I will disclose, I'm not getting any compensation or any discount or anything for these. I wish. As soon as I listened to these, I immediately put them down, went over to the computer, got onto HeadFi, sent a private message to the guy and said, hey, I will pay you $800, 6, 7, 8 right now for these, right now, in the condition they are. I don't need a case. I don't care about the cable. If the guy says he'll fix this dial if it breaks in the next 12 months, I'll buy these right now. Guy sends back a mail and tells me, I told you before, the Tor units can't be sold. And that I tried to do that is a great indication of how much I like these. These are the ASG 2.5 with crystal highs. It jumps right out at you as soon as you put these in your ear and you turn up the bass. These are like this ASGs and bass impact, but you've got a more sparkly highs. The 2.5s have rolled off treble and you can EQ it up, but these are coming right out the box sparkly. These are the natural step up to the Arsonics 2.5, and the best execution that I've ever seen or heard of a hybrid, which is kind of hard to get correct. The wire is a typical 2-strand braid, which would be something that you've seen if you've ever had an Arsonics, or if you've ever had I believe the Savants and also the 1964 audios all kind of share this as a stock cable. It's pretty similar. It's not very thick. It's not very unmanageable. It's decent. It's got memory wire on the top. I believe it's got 3 bores. You can put on pretty much any wide or tip rolling would be advised because these are kind of a universal set. It's got a very deep insertion. So you get a very good sound. Isolation is good. Again, it's a 2-pin, so if you had an aftermarket cable, you could easily switch that out. And that goes in like butter. Usually it's kind of hard to see this stuff, but that bad boy is going right in. The weakness of this item would be the same thing that the Arsonic suffers from, and that is that when you raise the bass up, and you've still got the way that these BAs I think are so up and forward, it doesn't interrupt the sparkly highs, but the mids get lost or recessed audibly clearly, more so than the ASG 2.5s, and after listening several times, it's got to do with the highs. They never lose their sparkle, so as you're increasing the bass up and you've got your highs already elevated, you're creating a natural gap, which would be the mid frequencies. At lower volumes, it's really not something that you're going to notice at all. You'd have to be critical listening to catch it. If you raise the volume way up and you're going full bass head, you're gonna know the sound, because it's gonna be just like the ASG 2.5s with sparkly highs. So to some people that sounds like the unicorn. And like I said, for the first time ever since I've been on Headphone and gotten any kind of tour unit, I immediately sent a mail to the guy that's running this and said, I'll buy these right now. Don't care about the case, don't care about any extra goodies, take care of this thing, and I'll buy these right now. So that speaks to itself. On a bass level, just strictly on bass, because I'm a bass head, and these were claimed, and I understand it because going off memory, it's kind of hard, but comparing these using a Mojo, which has 2 headphones out, and comparing car audio bass tracks. So, to hell with the mids and the treble. I was really just focusing on bass because people want to know. There's a lot of people that listen to the recs that I give, and they spend money based on it. So I'm going to tell you very clearly without mincing words. The EX800 ST with tape put over the vent will hit harder on a bass only car audio test track where you are focusing on 30, 40, 50, 60 hertz only. These KL refs, when pushed to the max, would be the 3rd best that I've heard. The EX800 would be the best. The Arsonics would be the 2nd, with a caveat that the Arsonics are the only IEM I've ever heard that actually kind of blow air onto your eardrum, which is like a little hair dryer blowing air on your eardrum, which is a kind of an amazing experience. And the EX800 STs don't do that because they're a big 16mm. They just slam your ear with and they pour the bass down your eardrum. The ASG 2.5s have an effect with the bass that is unique to the 3 of these models. This will not blow air on your eardrum, but it will slam very close to the ASG 2.5 without that kind of dynamic. And I believe, again, it's related to the positioning of these BAs that are right up in the front of the nozzle, which keeps the clarity. Remember, this has a dial that's got ref on it, which means that you got the option to have a reference sound. And I believe that the positioning, I don't know if it was done because of ergonomics or if it was done because of acoustics, but anyway, if you turn it to reference, this is a very nice critical listening IEM. I don't think the 2.5 ever could be considered a critical listening IEM. This thing on reasonable or lower volume, with it turned to ref on the dial, is actually pretty close to a studio, like an EX100 ST with no tape on it. Nothing is exaggerated. If anything were to be exaggerated, it would be the treble, because that always seems to be kind of sparkly, but not in a bad way. The FLC8s have a semblance issue with a gold tip, so there are IEMs that take a problem and by tuning kind of magnify it slightly. I agree with Brooko that the semblance is not a driver issue, it's a mastering issue. However, the way drivers are designed and tuned can highlight that mastering. So this didn't present any issues with semblance to me, despite the fact that it is sparkly, and it would seem that would be kind of a side effect. You can't have your cake and eat it too, as some people would say. Well, with this one you kind of can if you're a treble head, because these are really great clear trebles, and I believe that's why it's called the KL Ref for reference, which is kind of confusing because I'm a bass head. This is kind of a unicorn. However, the ref stands for reference, and okay, they've got another one called a KL Canon right here, which is going to be the next one that I'm going to do. This is called the ref, so what? But yeah, you turn the bass all the way up, and it's a 2.5 with better highs and a pinch below bass level. And if you turn the bass all the way down, you've got pretty much a analytical listening experience, like the 3003 with a reference filter is pretty much what these are like. So these are very, very nice IEM. They're expensive. They're difficult to get. They're only sold in Japan up until this review, but there's plans, I assume, or I've read, to start making these available to non-Japanese people. The build quality is outstanding. These are demo models that have already toured around the United States and come back, and they're still with no issue. Would I recommend these? That's hard to say because I don't know exactly what the price of these would be and what configuration you would take them. So this is more just this isn't like a rec type review. This is more of a, what are these actually? These are a step up from the 2.5. These come out of the box in all configurations with superior treble to the 2.5. The bass, if pushed to its maximum, are slightly less than the 2.5 because the 2.5 will blow air out of the nozzle onto your eardrum, and this doesn't quite have that effect, although this would be the third most powerful that I've ever heard, which would be behind the EX800ST taped completely with no pinprick, number 2 being the ASG 2.5s, and then this being the new number 3 on the bass list. So this is kind of a review to announce positioning and a new member to the list, and also to give you kind of a look at it. The BAs are very forward and close to the nozzle. The dynamic driver sits here. This is not so much a custom fit, so that's the thing that I'm not sure of, because looking at this thing, it's got a very general kind of ear thing, and it fits me fine, and I do possess some customs, right off camera, and these go over the ear and in with no problem whatsoever, and they've got a very nice design. These are very, very clever, the way that they go in. They fit nice, deep, and snug, and finding a tip is really not that hard. You just pull it over. So do I recommend these? I recommend that if you have a 2.5 and you've got money and you're thinking, take my money, these would be what you would probably want. There's some people that look at the Sonys and think, those are $200 and I'm not buying that, they're so good. Okay, you know what? I think they're good. I know they are because I compare them all the time, but I can understand that other people might think otherwise and want to have the bling, the shiny custom plate, and you can get something different from this put on it, and a whiplash or an aftermarket cable, and like I said, I immediately got on and sent a mail to the dude and was like, I'll give you money now, so I did the take my money thing, about 5 minutes after listening to this thing the first time. So I did the take my money thing already. I thought I could be clever and maybe these will never leave my place, and I would just buy these. So I got stuff in my possession right now that they're gonna come and they're gonna go, and there's no sadness. I'll be sad to see these go, and that's a kind of a theme of everybody that's touched these and listened to these. Letting them go kind of sucks, and knowing that getting one yourself is not going to be an easy chore. I guess that's kind of the unicorn thing that goes along with this. The lack of easy availability makes them more desirable to some people because they are in fact impressive. They are beautiful. They are well made. You're able to tune them if you'd like. But if you want to buy them, you might have to wait a little bit. Or you might need a friend in Japan. So this is, unicorns are not easy to catch. Nobody catches them actually, so if you're into the chase, then this would probably be something that you would really like. I gotta say thank you to Unknown Guardian, and also pass along to Ito-san my appreciation to give these the first video that I believe that they've got done in English, and again, for the people that are in my thread or are on my YouTube channel, I gotta confess that 5 minutes after listening to these, I got onto the net and said, I want these, and I had a clear goal of not wanting these to leave my possession, and that is enough proof. These are used. They've been passed through multiple hands. They've gone on, around the world. They travel more than I have. The dial is in rough condition, and I still would have thrown about $800 right at it, which would have been a lot cheaper than the sales price. But again, these are very used, and the dial is getting close to being needing of repair. And I don't even give a shit. I'll throw $800 at you right now. And that guy could have sent back and said, make it 900 and we'll do it right now. And no shit, I would have done it. I would have spent 900 on a used set that's got a sketchy dial because it's so badass. This is absolutely one of the finer IEMs that I've ever had. And I gotta say that there's another set in my possession that I'm going to review that sounds almost better than these. So I've got about 10. And they're all impressive in their own way, but this and one other one are just on another level. So, Unknown Guardian and also Mr. Ito, you guys are badass. This is like art, and acoustically it's fucking genius. This is just really, really good stuff. The KL Ref by Kumitate Lab, a lot of win, brothers.